together, up close and personal. Just look at Anthony Weiner. Or, if you prefer, don't. Madam MC, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guest. Today I want to help men learn what works and what doesn't work when you want to meet a woman. You gotta be a winner, not a wiener. Ladies, have you ever been minding your own business and a guy walks up and starts a conversation like he knows you? Well, recently, I was standing in my front yard doing my gardening work, and I'm kind of pondering this rose bush, what I really want to do with it. All of a sudden, I'm running in the alley, and this truck pulls up, and this guy gets up and says, "Can I help you?" And I'm going, you know, did I look like I was under distress or something? And so I kind of walk over and he goes, "What? Can I help you?" And I said, "No, I don't think I need any help." "Well, you know, you look, you know, like you might need some help here, and, you know, a beautiful woman like you, you know, it's like radar, you know, what, you know, probably could use some help." And he gets out and he walks up the steps and says, "You mind if I come and sit down?" And I'm thinking, okay, now usually I don't mind compliments. And if somebody says, "Hi, beautiful," I expect it to be my husband. Or maybe one of my brothers, because he's not going to say, "Hi, ugly," because I can only say, "You look like me." And so I, you know, just said, "Sure, you know, come sit down on the porch." I figure, you know, my husband's in the house, dog's on the other side of the thing. It's like, I don't know this guy, but he didn't look like he was dangerous or anything. It's like, okay. And I was kind of tired. I'd been working in the yard. So he starts talking to me and telling me that he used to live in Milwaukee. He, you know, is working, he has a job. Thought, well, that's kind of nice. And he helps his dad out. And he lives in the neighborhood about 20 blocks away. And I thought, well, that's far enough away. That's, you know, not right down, I'm not going to see him a whole lot. And I'm just being real patient and cordial, and I'm a nice person, so I'm not going to say anything really bad. And I learned that, you know, he doesn't have any friends right now, doesn't have a lot of friends, so he's a loner. And I just kind of think, you know, is this somebody that I'm going to have to worry about being a stalker? But I'm still being real pleasant. So by this time, the dog hears him on the porch. And the dog's barking. He says, "Oh, you know, you got a dog?" And I'm going, "Yeah." And I says, "Is he a big dog?" And I says, "Well, he's pretty good size. He's, you know, 3/4 collie. And he lets us know who's in the neighborhood and anybody's on the porch." And he says, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, well, I don't like dogs." And I said, "I like dogs." He says, and then we talked about the weather. And he says, "Yeah, it's really cold," because it happened to be cold the week before. He says, "I don't like Wisconsin." You know, he says, I like Mississippi, and I don't like Wisconsin winters. And I'm going, well, I like Wisconsin. I enjoy the snow. I like the seasons. And I kind of feel like, you know, something's going to come along. And then finally he says to me, "You know, I'd like to get to know you. I'd like to make some friends, a friend." And I'm going, "Well, you know, why?" He says, "Well, you remind me of my wife that I lost." And I lost her? He says, "Yeah, she died." I'm thinking, okay, now I look like a dead woman. So, oddly enough, I've heard this pickup line before. And it's like, you know, is this something that men just say, you know, you want to talk to somebody, you just say, "You look like my dead wife," and they'll feel sorry for you. I really didn't like, you know, where that was coming to. So, okay, so far, he doesn't like my dog. He doesn't like Wisconsin winters. I look like a dead woman. And then he says, you know, would you like to have I'd like to give you my phone number. And I says, well, okay, no, wait. I says, I am married. I have a husband. He says, "Oh, does he have a gun?" And I said, "Well, no, but he could." And he's not really, you know, getting turned off by any of this. And I'm thinking, you know, where does he think this is going? And I said, "You know, you're really young enough to be my kid." He says, "Well, I was born in 1969, and I'm thinking, well, I was still in high school, but still, you know, I'm really not interested." So then he says to me, well, you know, maybe I could give you my phone number and, you know, we could just call. He says, you don't have to tell anyone. And I'm thinking, okay. I tell my husband everything. His name, I've asked again, Robert. I says, you know, it's really nothing that I think that, you know, we're going to do. He says, well, maybe you could tell me, you know, introduce me to one of your friends. I could give you my phone number. And I says, Robert, you know, I don't have time for you. I'm a busy person. And I have Toastmasters, I have garden club, I need to get a job, and I just don't have time to find you a woman. And so he finally went away, and I'm thinking, you know, I really need to express to them that women really don't like to be compared to a dead woman. So I'm going to give you a few do's and don'ts. And so if you want to find a woman who likes dancing, go and sign up for a dance class. If you want to find a woman with a lot of money, take a cruise. If you want to find somebody who, you know, might be an older white woman like me, go work and volunteer in an Obama campaign. So I just want to say that I would like to leave you too. Basically, don't tell them that your wife died, and don't be a wiener. And as for me, the next time I go gardening, I am going to have my dog out on the front porch, have my husband reading the newspaper nearby, and I'm going to put up a yard sign supporting concealed carry.
Our second speaker tonight is Bill Slater. And I think Bill might have a little confession to make to us tonight about his secret plastic surgery. I met his twin brother last night. And I don't want to say he had a large nose, but when he blows it, he loses 2 pounds. This is Bill's third speech, and he's going to tackle a comedy mainstream tonight, devastating human tragedy, which is kind of, it's very tricky to do, to find humor in tragedy, and Bill apparently has found out how to do that. The story of the tornadoes at Joplin, Missouri is fading from the news, so this is Bill's latest attempt to keep it alive, and Bill hopes his speech